You are watching a Kargbofilms production.
They kids was almost on the court, you know what I mean? And that had to be a little distracting to the other kids.
Man, JK performance that game was magical. It was a Michael Jordan-like experience.
Man, we did everything right. There's no way. So I felt like we got robbed.
She still was in pain a lot after she went back, but it was like she would just push through it.
Has reached 1,000 points scored here at East Arena.
The East Coweta versus Newnan rivalry, every time we play them, no matter what year it is, it's the talk of the town. It's the biggest of the biggest. People come from different sides of where they live at to come watch that game. The environment at home is crazy. Like, it's something that a good basketball player would want to play in, want to dream about. That's a dream game to play in.
Oh, it runs deep. It goes all the way from like 100 years ago. It's a big rivalry. It means a lot.
The rivalry is always fun, you know, even though they're not really competition, it's just fun, you know, seeing the crowd, both Newnan and the EC side get together, you know, talk, and it's just fun.
I graduated from East Coweta, you know, class of '99. So they've been going back and forth way before my time. So it's always been a big deal, you know, for bragging rights, whether it's football or basketball, whoever wins, it's like, oh man, we beat the brakes off y'all this year. You know, so it's a big thing. You know, it's all fun and games, but it's a big deal though, you know, and them kids know it. You know, they know that from either side of the track, you know, everybody want to win. So you just never know how the game gonna go.
The rivalry game really just brings everybody out. I mean, it really packs the school. Whether it's at East Coweta, Newnan, it's just gonna be packed. It brings everybody out. Like all of us that went to EC or went to Newnan, you know, we always come back for that game. Even if you don't have kids that's playing or there, you still go to that game.
I've been a part of a million different rivalries and actually viewed, you know, as fans of the different rivalries. So, man, the community, it matters, right? A lot of other rivalries, it only matter for that night. The Newnan EC rivalry matters up until we play them again.
The rivalry, it run deep, really, but it's harder now because we didn't really have no competition. Like years before, we've had like competition, but it's still there no matter what. We still want to beat them by however much.
Back when I was in high school, it's always been a big thing, the rivalry. And I want to say back when I was in school, I think Newnan was beating us then. So, and I want to say her 10th grade year or her junior year, it was one of the games, they ended up having to play them 3 times. The third time was like the beginning of region, I think. And so it was one time Newnan beat them, they lost against Newnan, and then they beat Newnan again. So it was, when you got the rivalry game, both teams want it really hard, so you just really never know.
It's a good rivalry because my 9th grade year, it was actually our first time beating Newnan in like, I don't know how long, but we won by 3 in the last like seconds. We had hit a free throw, and it was like the first time we ever beat them. I feel like the rivalry is a good rivalry, but it's just downgrade again. Once we got up, they just started rebuilding. It wasn't really a big game for the girls because it's like they're like rebuilding, so it's like it wasn't much to expect from that game. Yeah. Because we had already knew that we was gonna win, and it wasn't like the seniors wasn't gonna play as much because it was an easy game for the girls.
I still think it was a rival game. You know, it's just because everybody gonna show up. You know, it's the big stage. So regardless of how well they was playing, I still think they probably came in taking it serious, like, oh, we just finna go in here and try to drag them. You know what I mean? So, and they kind of came out with that mentality. So, you know, I think, like I said, rival games, everybody got to take serious because you just never know who gonna show up.
And just, you talked about how this was an easy game for y'all. So going into that game, were you like really serious, or you just kind of like, this is just practice, really?
I was somewhere in the middle. I mean, yeah, I wasn't too serious, but I wasn't too like, because if you do that, then you're gonna perform poorly.
I did decent. You know, I think we really only played like a little of the first and second quarter because, you know, it wasn't really a lot of competition. So, you know, Coach Quasey put the JV players in. But overall, we did pretty good. I did pretty good.
I think she did good. She did what she was supposed to do. You know, they set it up so where the JV and the freshman girls could play the rest of the game, you know, so they can kind of get a feel for the years to come of those rival games. So I think, you know, she played well that game, you know.
I performed pretty well. I could have did better, of course, but, you know, going into it, I already had my mind made up. It's like we barely gonna play anyway because once we ran it up, our JV started playing. So, I don't know. It wasn't really. I don't like playing games like that when there's no competition.
Yeah, Newnan home game. It was a great environment. Everybody came out, watched us. I say that game, they were telling me like it's stuff behind this, and like this what everybody come to see, everybody come to watch. It's history behind this game, so they needed me to play my heart out.
We had talked about it, you know, and the main thing was just keep a cool head and don't get a tech, you know what I mean? Because the year before that, he had got a tech, you know. Him and one of the other kids from the other teams, you know, they kind of went back and forth during the game, and he ended up, matter of fact, he got 2 techs, and he ended up getting ejected. So when we went in the first round of the playoffs, he had to sit out for 2 games. So I feel like, you know, they would have had a better shot if he had been in the game. So my main thing was just keep a cool head, don't say nothing, play, and let's try to get the W, you know. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he knew he had to do what he had to do. You know, I kind of feel like he wanted a little get back from last year, you know, because how things went last year, him being ejected out the game. So I think he went in with a cool head. I think he went in, you know, with a leader mindset, and he just knew that, you know, they just had to get the win, you know.
The first home game, Newnan versus East Coweta, I had to sit out that game. But after that, I knew that my boys was gonna go crazy, but they knew I was hurting inside, so they played that game for me. And JK Cameron and Mya, he was like, I'm gonna get this dub for you. I was like, for sure, I'm gonna be on the sideline. Y'all better go turn up.
They didn't know until maybe 30 minutes to an hour before the game that who would be missing and who wouldn't be, because I don't like to rock the boat. However, you know, we build a culture of next man up, and the kids understand when that time comes. So I think it shook them a little bit for their brothers to be out, but I think they handled it just so well, and then gave some other kids a chance to step up and show us, you know, their senior leadership, you know, in that particular case.
I was feeling good. We was down too, Esther and Sam. So I just felt like me, Reek, Austin, we had to like do extra.
His mindset going into that game, I think, was he got to step up. He got to work harder. We don't have our full team, roster playing. So, I got to work extra hard. And I think he knew too, because as far as the boys, like Newnan High has a great boys team. Like half of them is his old teammates from AAU. So it was talent on both teams, and he knew it could go either way. Like they wanted it just as bad as they did.
JK Cameron.
It was wall to wall in there. Like, that's to be expected on a rival game. And especially when you got two good teams, you know what I mean? Both of the teams play well, and you just can't say, oh, Newnan High gonna win. You can't just say East Coweta gonna win. Each team feel like they gonna win, but everybody wanna come and see. It's talk of the town, so everybody wanna come and see who gonna win. So, yeah, the crowd it was off the chain, man. Like, them kids they was doing their thing,
But you playing great, bro. You are a freshman, bro. You just got to lay in.
It's a game between nerves and will. Now that you got over the nerves, just go ahead and will your way to the win.
P.
Turn up. That's all I get. What's
7.
Execute, man.
Strive. 7.
Finish the game, y'all.
First 5 out. First 5 out. First 5 out.
Let's go.
First 5. Let's go.
He did good, man. He balled out. You know what I mean? He did good. I think he protected the ball real well. He took shots when he needed to take shots. He got his teammates involved. He did well on defense. He came up with a couple big steals or whatever on defense. They was going back and forth. It's a rival game. So overall, that last quarter, He played like I want him to play every single game he stepped on the field.
JK performing that game, it was crazy because I knew he was finna do some crazy things, but I didn't think he was gonna put them on his back the way he did. And the team performance, they did. That when nobody looking scared, when nobody backing down, everybody was looking like dogs. They was ready to fight. They was ready to go.
JK performance was great. He was on that night. I feel like he thought nobody can stop him, which I thought nobody can stop him. He definitely helped us that game. He definitely went off and put us on his back.
I think I did good. I feel like I put the team on my back to win.
Man, JK performance that game was magical. Man, he played lights out. I mean, he just kind of, it was a Michael Jordan-like, you know, Michael Jordan-like experience. I mean, the rim was huge. Everything he threw up went in. He felt like he couldn't be guarded, so we made it real easy for him to use his talent to, you know, to our advantage. So, you know, JK, that was one that put like that. After that game, after we played that game, I sent that game directly to Alabama State immediately.
I felt that we could beat any team because missing Sam, that's a big key. And answering his defense, I feel like if once we bring them together, if we come together, we'll be great.
Joshua JK Cameron. With dedicated tonight for Jk and Cameron, Tampa Harper, and Connie Cameron. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Jk Cameron. Next up for the senior boys, senior Dylan Colvin. Next up for the Lady Indians, senior Mya Walker. With the Mya tonight are her parents and Papa, Willie and Connie Cameron and Leroy Robinson.
Senior night, I don't think they underestimated. I just think with young kids today, and we have a culture of winning, I think it's really hard to keep them focused. So, you know, we have an environment where the game is going to have a pretty good crowd every night. I mean, we got a DJ at the game, you know, basketball is important at EC, so the kids never think we're going to lose, right? So it's not that they underestimate them, but they just think that we're going to walk out there and people are going to bow down. So they don't understand we're everybody's March Madness. Everybody's like, if you're not those schools where we look up to take, to get something from them, I think they don't understand that a lot of teams trying to get something out of playing us.
I think everybody was just trying to get their rocks off because it was senior night. You started 5 seniors, everybody, your mom, your auntie, everybody there to watch you play, you trying to get your rocks off.
Man, well, I think they were nervous. Like the gym was packed like Newnan. Like it was dead packed on a Saturday, man. It was a nice crowd here. I don't think they were nervous. Again, I think for senior night, the anxiety to play well in front of extra family members, right? I want to show my family members what I can do, right? So now they step out their comfort zone and not necessarily play for the team, but they play for themselves. And however, I have to keep the team focused as a team. So I don't think they were nervous. I just think the anxiety to play well on senior night is there, which is, that happens every year.
I mean, I wasn't looking at them like a threat, but I know they were going to try to play us hard because it was our senior night. So I know they didn't want to get embarrassed in front of a lot of people, so they came out pretty hard at us.
First time, we wasn't playing as a team at all. We was just, everybody was taking their own shots. We wasn't passing the ball for real. But then as the game went on, coach went in the locker room and he was talking about how we wasn't playing good and all that. And we just came back with a different mindset.
So Callaway game, we had a little slow start. We really underestimated them. We didn't think that they was gonna come out and fight the way they did. But once we got their game plan and the way we saw they was playing, we was like, oh yeah, they a little bit too close. We got to turn up. We got to tighten up. We got to get right. And that's when we started clicking.
Very physical, pushing me out the paint, pushing me off the rebounds, basically not letting me do what I do best, basically.
Tension in that game, it was real high because once we started coming back, they started getting real physical, and we like physical, so we started getting physical back in a positive way.
I'm good, but I wasn't even trying to score that much. I wasn't trying to do too much for senior night because most people do too much. Doing something wrong. So I was just trying to play cool, calm until like the end where everybody started getting intense.
quality team. As well as Lynette went to the championship game, a game we lost. Out of our 10 teams we lost to, 5 out of the 10 were top 10 teams in the state of Georgia. Spencer, a team we beat, won the state championship, right? So we're playing quality teams, whether they're 7A teams, 6A teams, 5A teams, 4A teams, and so forth. So now I don't think that, again, we weren't playing to our standards. We really struggle with zone defenses, and Callaway scouted us handily. And, that's going to always keep us slow because we have to play at a different pace than we normally like to play.
I felt like once we play EC basketball, play as a team, we can do anything. We can beat anybody in the state. That's how I felt.
I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I wasn't sad, but it's it's my senior night, my senior year.
Yeah, we was nervous, we was ready to cry. I'd be ready to cry anyway, but it was emotional for us, and then especially Mya, her 1,000 points. Look, I'm feeling, it was emotional. I was happy for her, we all was, so.
Coach Quasey had called us in her room. Well, she called Mya, but I was walking with Mya because we had the same first block. And she told Mya how many points she had left to her 1,000 points. So Coach Quasey would tell me, she was like, any chance you get, you got to get a ball to Mya. And I'm like, okay. We were just all excited for Mya to get her 1,000 points.
Yeah, I can't say if she was nervous or not. I really couldn't tell. But I do know that she was ready to go. She was ready to play. I think she was anxious, because she was like, okay, the night could be the night.
I wasn't nervous. The whole day I wasn't nervous. I just treated it as another game to play. But getting closer to game time and senior night, I was kind of getting nervous, because it's our last game coming up or whatever. And so I was kind of nervous. Just walking down the court with my parents was kind of emotional.
Sometimes, most games, Mya she like an old Chevy, that you got to crank up in the morning and let it warm up a little bit, But that game, she came out busting, She came out the gate, trying to get her points, do what she had to do. But yeah, like most games, it'll take a while to adapt. She'll adapt to the defense, to adapt to the offense, and then once she get going, she's like a second half player. That's something that we got to work on going on the next level. But she's definitely a second half. You want her in the game to finish her game out. So, but she did real well though. She did good.
Mya had a great game. I've seen she was ready. She wanted her 1,000 points first quarter. She wasn't playing. She wasn't playing.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta score. Not knowing it was only the first quarter. I had 3 more quarters to go, but I was like, I just gotta score. My teammates said they were giving me the ball, making sure I could score. I really wasn't trying to get in the first quarter, but I did, and that's just how it turned out.
Has reached 1,000 points scored here at East Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for number 13, Mya.
I felt really good. It was a very big moment for me. And I still, kind of get emotional thinking about it because she had a lot of injuries her 10th grade year. So she missed majority of the season. After the injury, she came back very hard. It was tough for her because she still was in pain a lot after she went back, but it was like she would just push through it. She would push through it and, you know, come home just limping, hurting, but you never knew. Once she had the injuries, she started to doubt herself. I think it was a period where she just didn't feel like, you know, she would get to the 1,000 points because of the injuries and different stuff going on during her 4 years. So it was a big deal for her and for me. I was very proud.
Mya, she's a real responsible young lady, you know. So she set some goals for herself, and I think it was one of her big goals that she had for herself before she graduated. So I think it meant the world to her, you know. Like I said, she had a couple injuries early on, 9th and 10th grade year. So she had to sit out. She missed a few games. So she really wanted to rack up some points and hit that 1,000-point mark. So it was a real big deal. You know, she was real excited. She was happy about that.
Even with missing majority of the season, her 10th grade year, she still was able to hit her 1,000 points. And it's something she's always talked about in middle school when she would see, you know, other girls in high school, you know, just reading about them hitting their 1,000 points. And I remember her saying, I wish I could get 1,000 points or I hope I, you know, get to that point. And I told her, I said, if you continue to work hard, I said, if you want it, you can do it. So the 1,000-point thing has always kind of been a big deal to her. It's always been a big thing to her.
It meant a lot because, you know, I've been working hard, and 10th grade year I was out most of the season, so it was a great accomplishment to reach my 1,000 points my senior year, even though I was hurt. So it meant a lot. My friends, they were all happy for me, and so it made me happy too.
So after she got the 1,000 points, she started putting in other players. So I know Janai had a really good game that game too, because she hit like 2 or 3 threes. So yeah, it was a fun game.
They pretty good. They big. They was bigger than what we used to, but because not a lot of teams are really ever just taller than us like that. Because we got tall guards, so they was big.
Callaway, they're not a bad team. I knew some of them. I played AAU with them, so I knew some of the expectations that was going to come for the game. And they were pretty big. They rebounded a lot, but that didn't stop us. We kept pushing, and we got the win. No, Newnan, going to Newnan, I don't like going to Newnan. It's just different, you know. You're never going to expect what is going to happen. And I mean, it's still fun, but you just never know at Newnan.
The crowd was crazy. That was probably, that crowd right there was probably, I've never seen it like that. Even the crowd, you know, during the game, after the game, like it was different, very different. Cause like I say, I think with it being at Newnan, like they had way more of their people. The crowd was, you know, majority Newnan. So it was like when I would look down, it was just people everywhere, and like they was just all on the side of the court. Like I've never seen them allow people to be that close to the court. So it was definitely a different crowd.
The environment for Newnan away, it was crazy. Like it was something that I didn't even believe was gonna be that packed, because it was people standing up, it was people on the bottom, it was like people everywhere. Like when I first saw them, I was like, oh yeah, the whole city out here, the whole 47 was out there.
Man, it was electric, man, because Newnan went through so much. They had a tornado that kind of just blew off the top of the gym, and they went through a lot this off season, and we felt for them, and they were able to get everything back together, get it pent up, had brand new uniforms. We had similar, for the first time in about 7 years, we had similar records. Right, and we were playing, you know, this game mattered as far as Newnan is concerned in the region standings, right? So, and then they felt like they had a chance, because they were missing a player too when we beat them last time. So, man, it was, oh man, it was electric, man. That environment, they had like a whiteout going on, and our kids were there, their kids were there. It was different than all the ones I've ever experienced, you know. So I played Newnan, I think after this year, 14 times. So it was a different experience. I think I've lost 2 + 1, 3. So I'm 11-3 against Newnan.
Yeah, it was just another game, an easy win. Just try to stay lit, you know. We just tried to work on ourselves really, because playoffs were coming up. So we just took it light, and Coach Quincy played most of the JV players as well.
Okay, if you could describe this student section in one word, how would you describe it?
Disrespectful. Hype, I don't know. I be ready to talk back too though.
Yeah, very disrespectful. They know all of us, so they were saying like slick stuff to get in your head, like, oh, you can't score, all this. They were just talking.
I love student section though, like other team student sections, so that really get me lit. Like I be ready to play more when people talking. So, cause at the beginning of the game, they student section wasn't really there. They got there like maybe second quarter. So that's been really, I feel like we started playing, and then end of the game JV was in. So
I wouldn't say it was difficult playing with a crowd. Usually a lot of players feed off of like with a crowd. Like I know Aaliyah, she feeds off of that type of energy. And like really me, I don't let it get to my head, because it's like they gonna talk. People gonna talk regardless. And of course, if you cheering for your school, of course they gonna talk. So it's like it wasn't really it wasn't difficult playing with them.
I did pretty good. Did good on defense, a few rebounds and stuff like that.
We had a great game, and I feel like it was the same thing. We love when crowds are talking to us, because it's like, oh, we gonna show you
They would try to talk, but it wasn't much they couldn't say, or it wasn't much they could say, because the score was, we was winning by a lot, and we had to put our JV in.
Newnan away, the environment was crazy. Everybody standing up on the side, at the top. It was still people trying to get in, but the game was sold out. So like that game, it was very piped up. I know they were waiting for us to come to them because they came to us first. So yeah, I know it was gonna be a good game. It was a must win. I feel like since we beat them first, they were gonna come back. Like they were gonna be ready for us. So we had to be ready for them.
I don't think with the boys that they ever, even though they won the first one, I don't think they went in just, oh, we're gonna beat them, we're gonna win. Because they knew Newnan boys had been preparing, like they knew they was coming for them. So I don't think they just went in knowing they were gonna win or felt like they're gonna win. Like they knew they was gonna have to bring everything that they had to win that game.
Well, I think either way, like you said, it's a rival game, so they want to win. You know, they don't. You know, they want to keep the streak going. Like before that night, Newnan High haven't beat us in a long time. You know what I mean? It's a couple of years. Not since my kids been going to school at East Coweta. Newnan High haven't won. So of course they want to keep that. They don't want to be the team to break the streak. So they came in want to win. They still had that mentality. They weren't gonna lay down and give it to them. You know.
I feel that they adapted to what happened the first game. They saw that, okay, yeah, JK was cooking, but they was looking at everybody else, and they knew what we were trying to do into the dog fight going at Newnan.
The main downfall was they thought they were gonna blow Newnan out because the first time Sammy didn't play. So it's like, and they won. So it's like when they had him, they thought they was gonna blow him out. But you can't go in a game thinking you're gonna like blow someone out if the team want to do the same thing.
Yeah, lax, different than Callaway, but I would think they took Newnan, right? They didn't believe that Newnan would be as prepared as they were, right? And the kids took them for a joke in the sense of they didn't play to our full ability after we were so far down.
What was the coach saying to y'all when y'all were down 25?
He was saying that he knew that we was gonna do this. Like he knew we was gonna like come out like this. We was gonna be slow. He was underestimating them. He knew he was gonna do this. So he just wanted us to fix it.
My mentality, I got my team together. We all regrouped. We got in the circle. It was like, we not finna lose this game. We was down 25. We was like, bruh, we finna block out the crowd. We finna block out the crowd. We not gonna worry about none of that. We about to go play our game and do what we supposed to do. So my mentality was, I felt like that was a playoff game. So I had a win to go home mindset. So I was like, okay, we about to up the tempo. We about to get it done.
Oh, Newnan High, man, they was ready. They was ready. If it was an award to give to the crowds, then I'd say Newnan High. They kids was almost on the court, you know what I mean? And that had to be a little distracting to the other kids. You know, we was down, you know, and I think the crowd had a good thing to do with that, you know, because they had already lost and they was like, y'all ain't coming over here beating us again. So they came out and they was not playing. We came on the other end and Austin hit 2 big threes, you know what I mean? So that kind of cut it down a little bit and everybody kind of just got involved. Everybody got in rhythm, you know what I mean, to spark that run to get them back into the game, you know.
We were loud. When they were coming up, we got loud. Newnan was quiet. So, you know, we just tried to have the boys, keep the energy going for the boys and get them turned up and keep pushing.
I think our student section kind of helped rally the boys back into it. You know what I mean? So, Newnan High, they still was doing their thing. They still were making a little noise, but I think by this time the momentum had shifted towards our side.
Oh, they was quiet. They didn't. And when they was down, because they was talking the whole game, and then nothing. But then finally, you know what happened at the end. It was just...
They student section was quiet. They went silent because they knew how we get when we come close. We can win against anybody. I came out slow, really. I think I had only like 6 points in the first half. But as the second half, when we was coming back, I think it was like 44 to 46, and I came down and Coach Carter told me to just go score, and I crossed over and I got an and one. And I think I tied the game up.
So the third quarter we came back, we caught them. Like, so we tied the game up going into the fourth quarter. So, but the kids followed the game plan. We had a specific game plan in which we wanted to do throughout the game. In the first half, we didn't do it whatsoever. They did nothing what we asked them to do. But the third quarter, we turned it on.
What do you think their mindset was, like, digging out of that deficit?
Probably like, oh, hell no. You know, it was like, nah, we ain't going out like that. You know what I mean? So they put together a good run as a team. You know what I mean? I think JK made some plays and got to the line. And I think maybe they got a tech or something. So I think they got at least about 6 points from the line to kind of spark the run.
I knew he was gonna come back from that league because like we're better. We got better talent than them, but they wanted it more. So
I think we played great. We did what we did best. We locked up on defense. Everybody rebounded. Nobody was being selfish, and we trusted our coaches. So that's how we basically came back.
Yeah, they kind of slowed it down a little bit. Like we had the momentum, we was going, and I don't know whether it was, you know, what the team wanted to do, what the coaching staff wanted to do, kind of slow it down a little bit. I don't know what happened, but they kind of just slowed it down a little bit and went to running, you know, more plays than just running and gunning how they was that got them back into the game. So it kind of made the game a little bit closer, you know what I mean, and really put it in the hands of the ref once they kind of slowed down a little bit, you know what I mean.
Once we got the game to a point where we were even, I think we got a little nervous at that point, right? Instead of, okay, let's stick to what we did the third quarter and go on.
I think they called timeout on my second one. Yeah, they kind of iced me. I came back out. JK told me. He said, "There ain't no overtime." Shot the free throw. I missed, and then I guess they called timeout, and we went back in the huddle, and coach was like, "We okay," because we were up by 1. He was like, and then we came out the huddle, he was like, "We gotta just D up right here and get a stop."
So right when he called that foul, I was right beside JK, and I told JK, I was like, "Bro, JK, do not foul. Just go ahead, do not foul." he pulled off, and then the ref still called a foul. So I was like, oh man, we did everything right. There's no way. So I felt like we got robbed in that game. I was like, first I was like, this a rivalry game. You gotta let that go into overtime. It's a tie game. What you mean? Why you calling that foul? But then when he called it so late, I was like, no way he called a shooting foul. He should at least called it on the ground, but he called a shooting foul.
I don't think it was a foul. I think they just called it, and yeah, that's what really won the game. The ref called that foul, and it really wasn't a foul.
To me, I thought that was not a foul. Like, I think he's supposed to let that play out, make it go overtime, just because of like what type of environment we in and what the game is. Like, it's a rival game.
Oh no, we have film. It wasn't a foul. It wasn't a foul whatsoever. It's on YouTube. You can check that out. It wasn't a foul, but I mean, on the road, hey, if you leave in the hands of the referees, you're right. Those are the kind of things that's going to happen. It wasn't a foul. He ran by the kid. We fouled him earlier. By that time, the foul should have already been called. We told them to do it. We told them to foul immediately out of the timeout anyway, so we can go into overtime. And you know, the kid, you know, he flopped, but he made a big time free throw. So we missed our free throw. So you know, I can't knock him.
I feel like the game was on me really, but like as I looked at it, I didn't foul him really. I fouled him before he even shot the ball though. I ain't gonna lie and say I didn't foul him, but I fouled him. But it was before the shot. So then when he shot it, I pulled back. I knew Weston since I was small, so like I knew he was gonna hit the free throw. He don't really miss free throws.
He was hurt. You know, he wanted to win, and you know, it's always, they all play AAU together actually, so it was a tough loss for them. They wanted to win. You know, they were doing their smack talking, you know, so I know he wanted to win.
You know, I feel like if anything, he felt like he got cheated by the ref. I do feel they got cheated. It wasn't a foul, so I don't think it bothered him because he didn't. I mean, it just really wasn't a foul. So I feel like it would have been different if it was a foul, like he grabbed his wrist, hit it, you know, anything like that. Like, you know, to know you really did foul, it would bother him. But it just wasn't a foul.
Nah, it wasn't a big deal. You know, it's like, I think in a weird way, they probably was kind of happy for the kids, you know, because they all, I won't say they wanted to give them the win. You know, they fought for it. But in the end, you don't want to lose. They lost, and then once it's over, it's over. So what can you do about it? So I kind of think, you know, due to the rivalry, I think it was kind of like, oh, okay, all right, we'll let y'all have that. Y'all won. But but he felt like it was a bad call, and I looked at it a couple times, and I was like, you know. But anyway, life goes on.
But really, I talked to JK about the game afterwards, and they was just not playing good defense in the first half. But then second half, they came out ready to play. Then the reffing messed up the whole game for them.
I think they played well in the fourth quarter. We didn't hit no shots, but you know, that's a game, you're on the road, you're not gonna hit shots. I think if we make those free throws or we make a putback here and there, I think we missed a couple putbacks. Right, we stick to the game plan, we win the game, but the game plan wasn't stuck too. But like I said, I think that they played well. I think that it's the kids' fault. I think that they didn't give up and they played hard. So that's all I can ask for. But I think, you know, sometimes you lose games to win games later. I think that game woke us up, you know, in a sense where we were ready for the playoffs.
I felt like this was the perfect time for get back on Gwinnett from 2 years ago.
Ball game! North Gwinnett advancing! East Coweta! Season complete!
their student section, I wasn't expecting them to like know our names. So it was like, oh, they know my names.
If you're not in the right place, then they gonna keep you out of that place. Like, they gonna make sure they get in your head.
But like I said, I just don't feel like I wasn't ready personally to be done.
Man, when we talked about legacy, we talked about what are you going to do differently than other teams hadn't done.